hear from you, Saurabh, about all the personnel, HR, technology, how we have wired them and made sure that what Kashish was talking about, that there should be a long-term solution and we should look for some plan for future. I think you are the one who can throw some light on that.
Sure. Thanks, Runa. Thanks, Kashish, and thank you to Digital HR for providing this platform. Where, as I said before, it's amazing to hear the stalwarts speak about their experience and speak about how they have gone adjusting themselves and their organization to the new normal. I think from my perspective and the organization I represent, we've got three important elements, which probably is the same for everybody. That is people, process, and technology. Runa, you mentioned about Industry 4.0, and we were talking about okay, these many years might be required to get into Industry 4.0, and one sudden morning we are actually into Industry 4.0 where we have to use the entire digital technology or the technology world to enable whatever we have to do from a people perspective. So for me, this is entering into Industry 4.0 without any notice and entering in a scenario where probably we never experienced this before. I mean, at least our generation has not experienced something like this. So from the organizational standpoint and from my standpoint, it was really how do you tackle the current situation by marrying these three aspects. That is, how do you create a process for your people using the technology? And right from what Kashish mentioned about a virtual onboarding to a virtual offboarding, I think as an organization we also went ahead and then made sure that the offers are honored. There are no real implications from a people perspective. If we have anybody who is sitting on bench at the moment, we look at reskilling them. So that was really the challenge which we took up. And I think from an engagement perspective, it was more of a holistic approach, where there were few elements which we decided that we would focus on. First was connect. How do you establish connect and genuine connect with your people? And obviously, there has to be a background to this connect of the past. You just can't start connecting with your employees now because you're in the pandemic situation. But how do you establish a regular connect with your employees? So what did we do? We looked at the entire segmentation of our colleagues, trying to understand who is staying alone, who is staying with family, who is staying within the city, who is staying outside the city. So establish those connect sessions with the leadership team as well as with the HR VPs. Look at the fun element. How do you have the fun element driven by the HR team, the central employee engagement team, as well as people managers. I mean, as recent as this morning, I was talking to my people managers, 75 of them across the board, and I was telling them that don't you feel that you've become like a kid, who is now, more keen to also drive fun events along with your colleagues, and it's become a normal. It's not that we have to force ourselves into doing that. So that's one aspect into the entire connect. The second bit was, how do you look at the entire well-being approach? And again, well-being has to be very, very holistic, where you talk about, your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, your financial well-being. All these three aspects should be made available. So, we got doctors onboarded to conduct webinars, to have Q&A sessions. We had a counselor coming on, to answer questions available all the days in the week. And then you also have financial experts to come and talk about how do you manage your funds in such a crisis situation. How do you go about, investment? How do you go about, your expense management? So all of that was really looked into from a well-being perspective. And of course, the bit around learning. How do you enable learning as a normal and look at the avenues which your partners are sharing with you, where, people would really participate in these webinars. Look at, so we created a bite-sized learning program where our employees participated into virtual webinars for our employees. And we ran close to 70, 80 webinars for our employees by our employees. And then, over the last, say, 10 to 12 weeks. And of course, now getting into the new normal, how we look at virtual intervention as something which we'll go with. Last week we conducted an Agile boot camp, completely virtual. So I think those were aspects, Runa, which we went about. I think one of the critical aspects of this entire engagement was was the response from our colleagues across the board. And I can sit back and feel that the connect and the bond which is now established is beyond comprehension and beyond words. And I think this is going to go in the long run, not only in creating a bond between the leadership team, the organization, and the employees. It's going to be a bond which is going to be much beyond that, which is going to drive a lot of positive behaviors within the organization. And I think from that perspective, I would say that and it goes with that cycle which talks about your satisfied employees would be engaged. Your engaged employees would work more, and if your employees are working more, they would be more productive. So I think that was our approach when it comes to people engagement and really looking after our people.
What tools and features CHRO are looking at to enable more engagement through digital channels? Saurabh, would you like to respond on these questions? It's a very interesting question by somebody wrote personify. He or she has not shared, her or his name. So, but the question is a good one. So why don't you respond, Saurabh?
Sure. So I think from a CHRO perspective, the tools which we would need to drive engagement. I mean, the tool can be any, but the basic of the tool should be that it is ease of connectivity. And when I say ease of connectivity, it should be available on our laptops, on our desktops, on our smartphones. So that ease of connectivity is something which is the requirement of a tool. Second, I would say is the user-friendly approach or user-friendly features within the tool, which are very much required, where we could run engagement initiative. I mean, it could be a poll, it could be a well-being initiative, it could be a connect session, it could be a fun and frolic session. I think user-friendly feature is another aspect of the tool. I think that the third aspect, which is very, very important when I use a tool, is what is the kind of data or what is the kind of information which comes back to me as the head of the function to look at the analysis of the data. I mean, what is the information which is getting gathered? Because while the tool can have all the beautiful functionalities of ease of use, friendly, very tech savvy, but if it is not able to provide me with the data which is required, in terms of connectivity, in terms of participation, in terms of effectiveness, I think any tool which has these functionalities would be of use. It could be a tool to onboard our people. It could be a tool to run the entire engagement initiatives. It could be a tool to, basically look at hiring our people. I mean, at my organization, we have moved to a complete workday solution from our employee perspective. And so these are just tools which are available, but I think I would stress more on the functionalities of the tool and look at how it would benefit us as CHROs to take a decision, and of course the team, how do they get the benefit of driving the initiatives using these tools. That would be my take on what tools would be used.
So the next question is for you, Saurabh, that companies don't have the latest learning management system to implement, especially for academia, for teachers, and it might be the case for corporate as well. So how an organization should be directed to overcome this challenge?
So thanks, Runa. If I understand it well, is the question related to a learning management system being in place or an approach being in place? Because again, from a learning management system being in place, again, I related back to a tool being available, and I think a best fit tool as per the organization need could be looked at. But then if it is to do with the approach, I would think that learning is an avenue which has to be made available for our colleagues, our employees, on the go. And that is what is very, very important. So I think from a learning perspective, one of the important elements which probably has been a learning in the last, I would say, 12 weeks is how do you create different avenues for different people to learn. I mean, how do you have your technical trainings going on? How do you have your behavioral trainings going on? How do you encourage people to attend webinars which are being made available by partners like InnoServe and many other of those? So, within my organization, I had close to 1,300 people attending webinars hosted by different learning partners, as well as, partners like Harvard Business School, Udemy, LinkedIn, and all of that. So, how do you keep constantly communicating about these avenues being available? The second aspect is the certification. I mean, a lot of the certifications are already online. I mean, especially in the technology space. We have looked at how do we encourage the certifications being done by our employees. We've put a policy around the reimbursement and then gone ahead with that. The third aspect is really look at the behavioral or the soft skill intervention. How do you offer those as a platform to the individuals? Furthermore, what we have also done is, while Workday is our learning management system, but then we've used Microsoft SharePoint to create a repository of all this information. I mean, any webinar, any well-being session, any connect session, that gets recorded and that gets stored in the SharePoint site. So what happens because of this is an employee is able to access this plethora of information at any given point of time. So I think there could be intermittent solutions which would be available even if a full-fledged learning management system is not available. I think the approach, the focus, and a plan to tackle learning is required than only focusing on a learning management system.
Sort of a quick one for you. Very interesting question by Vidhu Sharma, and it should be a very crisp response from us. Do we think that we will shift to BYOD, bring your own device model, if we continue with work from home?
I think yes, a lot of organizations are evaluating this as an avenue, and in fact, I have seen a lot of places going with this BYOD for smaller assets as well. I mean, instead of waiting for IT to deliver a laptop, I mean, a keyboard, a mouse, a headphone, etc. We've actually told our people that if anything is available locally, go for it. We'll reimburse that. So I think the entire approach is going to change, and BYOD will be looked at as an avenue. But then of course restrictions from client, customer, internal information security, all of that will be into place. But yes, I mean, to answer you, yes, that would be an avenue which will be looked at to ease convenience and I mean for the convenience and to ease out the burden on the IT teams.
So Saurav, your question is very interesting one, but the person has not written his name or her name. Employees are ending up working from more than usual, so they are now getting fatigue and burnout. What should be the approach of an HR?
So I think it's going to be a work-life integration, and I related back to the challenges question, which was posted, where one of the challenges which is definitely going to come up is to the younger ones who are around in our homes. How do you explain that? Why are you stuck to your mobile, your laptop for this long, when your endeavor is to reduce their screen time? So I think that is going to be one of the elements which is going to play a critical role. And relating it back to your question, Runa, I think the role of HR is going to be more of an influencer, where you educate your employees of how do you really look at maintaining that integration when it comes to the work life, and making sure that if that calls for tracking if people are taking leaves, people are taking breaks, so be it, because at the start we might have to push people to take leaves, make them aware that taking a break is very, very important, and then it becomes a part of a BAU process. So I think one is information sharing. Second is being a counselor. Third is I'm not saying a stick approach, but more pushing a few things, of taking break, or taking leaves. I think these are different ways in which HR can really influence. And at the same time, the level of engagement initiative has to go up. It's no longer a fun Friday on one Friday in a month. It has to be more of those events, so that people at least get some free time, if not away from the machine, at least from their work, because of these initiatives.